Hello, I am the Grotto Goblin of the Goblin's Grotto, and welcome to another Bones 6 news video. If you're not caught up on what Bones 6 is, I recommend clicking on the playlist in the card in the top corner or in the description below. While you're down there, you'll also see a ton of handy-dandy links to various fun ways of supporting this channel. Plus the like and subscribe buttons, which I recommend hitting if you want to support this channel and you enjoy seeing more of this content. We have a lot of news and big reveals to cover, so without further ado, we got a better look at one of the first minis ever shown for Bones 6, with this huge dragon mini being painted on one of Reaper's official streams by one of their miniature painters, Michael Proctor. It's looking very nice. Pretty cool color scheme. They also showed off some of the new bugbears, which are alleged to be included in this Kickstarter in their own add-on. In fact, we saw a female bugbear belonging to this troop a while back, and in the same stream, Bonk, one of Reaper's promotional releases, which is still available in their store now, is said to be included in this add-on, which we'll actually be getting another look at later on in this video. But I have a few more important things to get through first. For starters, we got this promo image of 2 dwarven barkeeps, which are to be included in the Green Griffin expansion set, of which this Kickstarter is named. Yes, as theorized, this set will likely contain a number of NPC characters, like this, especially non-combatant ones set in a tavern. Also for the Green Griffin expansion, we got a turnaround of yet another Barmaid. No name for this one yet. She's looking pretty cool though. Really lovely hair on this one. Hair is really difficult to sculpt in digital forms, so well done on the sculptor there. In another expansion tease, we got 2 troglodytes, a king and a spearman, which, if you recall last video, we hinted at in a stretch goal. Interestingly, these are not going to be headed to the core set, but are to be added to an unconfirmed expansion. Another thing to note about these trogs is that they are meant to go with the Bones 4 troglodytes. I wasn't around for Bones 4, but I imagine this would be quite exciting if you were. Alright, now for one of the biggest reveals so far. The first of the minis for the core set, plus a finalized price. Yes, on the price, the core set's going to be $125 US. That'll be the cost of the core set before taxes and all that jazz. It's $5 more than last time, so not so bad. Hopefully that $5 goes towards even more minis. Of the minis here, we've already seen a few, but most are brand new. And I'll let Ron go through them.
At the very top left, you see Drag Off the Defiler.
And that was the one, when I did the graphic stuff earlier, that was the one I was most excited about. To see that one, that is just such a timeless.
That piece is one of my all-time favorite Reaper pieces. Next to him, you see the Dwarven Ratcatcher. Then you can see the promotional models. There's the 4 characters from the promotional models we're handing out right now. Then you can see the gnomes that Bobby Jackson did. There's the bog creature that Weeby did. There's a classic Warlord Lupine. There is the 25th anniversary Tara. There's the Dwarven Battlemaster from Warlord line. There's another Warlord figure, the Bloodstone Golem. We picked a few cool Warlord pieces that are really great. We put those in here because they're just so cool. There's the Halfling on the Dragon. Some more 25th anniversary pieces. You can kind of go through these and see these. And then at the bottom, what we do every time is we give you a bunch of bonus figures. These are just bonus figures we're just going to just throw into the core set because, well, they're just cool. And it's usually some sort of a horde monster. This time we use the zombies from Bones 5. Because who doesn't need a horde
more
of zombies?
Right. Oh, God, yes.
Right above the zombies, you can see the skeletal Houndmaster with his skeletal dog. You see there's Erlen, the water sorceress, on the left side, the piece that was only available in resin at ReaperCon last year. Ooh. Lots of cool stuff. Some good Rodolphi pieces there. Some Bobby Jackson stuff. Some Verter Clock. Some Julie.
There's the dancing girl you showed off a little while ago.
Yeah, the dancing girl.
The Hellborn dancing girl.
The zombies are an interesting inclusion. I have the 4 from Bones 5, and these look to be duplicates of those. It doesn't look like we'll be getting more poses, so a little bit of a shame, but it's always nice to have a larger horde of zombies. Can never have too many. Yeah, these are all looking pretty good. Excited to see more reveals. Speaking of which, Reaper noted that the reveal schedule this time around will be much more spread out, so don't expect to see a majority of the stretch goals or bonus additions to be shown in the first days of the Kickstarter. We'll be seeing a lot more over the course of its 30 days or so. And speaking of stretch goals, we got the first few on this neat little map. Some of these items we already knew we were going to see. The core set being unlocked, that was a given. We knew about the Town Guard unlock as well. We saw that earlier on in the series. The Ant Infestation, that ties back to the giant ant that we saw. We know that'll be going to the core set, unless things changed. I do wonder if this means we'll be getting more poses or sculpts of the ants now, though. And then right next to that, unlocked just before, is the Blackmane Knolls add-on. We got a good look at that earlier in this video. Most everything else is new info, but we do see the Green Griffin expansion getting 2 unlocks here. But one thing we didn't know is that it was going to be split into 5 parts. You can see part 1 out of 5 as the second unlock, and part 2 further down. So this out of 5 system is part of what Reaper was talking about with spreading out the reveals. Last time around the expansions were only broken up into 3 reveals, now it's going to be 5. On that note, there are 2 other out of 5s listed here as Undead. Fairly generic title. Perhaps this is that expansion with the Raven holding the bone, or it's just some other kind reveal that will also just be slowly parceled out. We'll have to look at the shield that's associated with it when we get to see it. There's also a few standalone ones here. You got Sophie's, Brinewind, Dreadmere, and Dawnseeker's 1. These seem like core set unlocks to me. Hard to say how many parts, but one could assume definitely not out of 5. Sophie, for those that aren't aware, is Reaper's succubus mascot, opposite to Mr. Bones. So it sounds like we'll be getting at least 2 rounds of those, likely recasts of older releases. Brinewind and Dreadmere will probably feature new or reoccurring characters from those lines Reaper has been putting out. The Dawnseekers, that sounds like some adventuring party folks to supplement the tavern setting to me. And lastly, we have the Men-at-Arms, another likely core set unlock, and the Painter's Pick, a classic Bones Paint add-on bundle. Now this was a lot of new info, but we're not quite done. Among the smaller tidbits, like there possibly being another Ferret Stoat mini in the Kickstarter, we also got some more significant news. For one, the core set will be cast in Bones Black, same as last time. Now, since the core set is going to be in Bones Black, you might be wondering, what about Bones USA? Well, Bones USA will be relegated to more select offerings. That might be a bit of a bummer for those who wanted everything to be Bones USA, as it is a great quality material, but Bones Black is also excellent, and using that will greatly speed up production time and lessen the time between ordering and delivery. On the topic of delivery, Bones 6 will be much more transparent with the shipping process and costs according to Reaper, and the biggest news drop of all, there will be no waves. Yes, gone are the days of refreshing the page to try and get a top spot in the first wave to go out. Everyone is on a much more equal footing, and I would suspect that shipping will be done on a much more logistically sound basis. No more waiting for that 1 or 2 things you ordered to go out because several people ordered 1,000 things ahead of you. Still, the earlier you get in, the better you'll probably fare getting your stuff sooner. Though we're talking a year or so between the Kickstarter and you getting your items, so it's not really that big a deal at the end of the day. And last, but certainly not least for Bones 6, Reaper confirmed that the core set will not be broken up as it was with Bones 5. This means you won't be able to order extras of select minis from it. Kind of a bummer for folks who appreciated that offering. I didn't personally partake, and it sounds like not enough folks did last time to justify it sticking around. In theory, though, this complication of the core set being removed would lead to a quicker turnaround on production and easier logistics. So maybe it's a good trade-off in the end. There also won't be a Learn to Paint kit in this Kickstarter, but as we saw before, there will still be paints, and there are plenty of Learn to Paint kits available in the Reaper Mini store right now. And that's the last of the Bones 6 news we have for today, but before we go, I just want to briefly update you on Bones 5.5 if you were participating in that, and on the Ukrainian Relief Fund that I mentioned in last video. So, Bones 5.5 first. The bad news. Well, due to you-know-what, there has been quite a lot of delays. So the shipping hasn't even started for that yet. So if you did need to update your address, I would suggest doing it now. But you'll have a little bit of time because it's going to be a while before we get those minis. On to much better news. The Ukrainian Relief Fund mini has raised over $11,000. And this is only so far. If you haven't ordered your Relief Mini yet, I'll put a link in the description for you to do so below. I talked more about it in the last video, so if you haven't seen that, I recommend going back to check out what all that was about. And with that, finally, we are done for today. I really appreciate you watching this far. If you found this enjoyable, informative, or some other adjective, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us grow, and as always, your support is much appreciated. It takes a lot of time to make these videos, but y'all's support is extremely motivating. Without y'all, I couldn't do this. So, hope you all have a good one. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, or Kofi, however you want to pronounce it, I highly recommend it. And I'll catch you in the next video. So, stay safe, take care, and if you got 'em, let's go paint some minis.
Giant ant.